Thank you, everyone. Well, this has turned out exactly as we had hoped it would, and that is that you're all talking with each other and having a blast meeting with each other, and you're developing relationships, and you're just really enjoying being here. You know, we have these once every 5 years this is the third time, and its purpose is not a fundraising dinner. Its purpose is for you to be with each other and to meet the LifeSite team, and for the LifeSite team to meet each other, because we don't meet each other hardly other than once a year. We're all over the place, and we're in across North America, and we're in Europe, and we have one in India, and we have, I don't know, other places. There's one in Brazil. And so this is a very special opportunity for us, as well as for you, our supporters and readers, and amongst those that can make it. And we chose this location not because it's so luxurious, because we're very simple and we live a very frugal type of way of doing things, and our personal lifestyle is very frugal. This is not normal for us at all, you know. But it's worthy of a 25th anniversary celebration, and it worked out, you know. We did, you know, it was, we planned this in faith, as we do with everything. We just say, we got to do it. Let's do it. It has to be done. And that's what we did with this. And a lot of people thought we were crazy. You know, how are we going to fill a place like this? Well, you see it tonight. There's almost 700 people here. That's incredible. Sorry. So it's wow, you know. 42 years ago, I experienced a conversion back to my Catholic faith. My wife Bonnie and I did. And I used to be, I was raised as a Catholic, and then I went to university. And of course, at university, I lost my faith, which was typical of everybody in those days. And then later on, after 5 years of marriage, Bonnie and I experienced this conversion. And I was, though prior to that, I was a dues-paying member of zero population growth. I was also pro-abortion, and I believed everything the professors told me. Now we have 8 children, 26 grandchildren. So the joke is on all the professors. They thought they had us, but you know. So 40 years ago, I started volunteering with and rapidly became full-time in an organization called Campaign Life Coalition. It's Canada's national pro-life organization. And Jim Hughes was the president of that organization. And so I was there for about 15 years. And I was his right-hand man, and I did everything you can imagine in a national pro-life organization. And in that organization, we did a lot of very unique things that most other pro-life organizations did not do. And a lot of it had to do on the international level and at the United Nations. And we learned so many things that most pro-life organizations and people did not know. Can you let me know when 10 minutes is up? And and then after those 15 years, Jim Hughes came up to me and said, I hear there's something called an internet and websites, and I want you to set up a website, whatever that is. I said, okay. And so I set up a website. And then he said, there's this young fellow that's just joined us named John Henry Weston, and I'd like him to join you. And he had a master's in psychology, and I thought, what can I do with a master's in psychology? But he's a very good researcher and very good writer, and he started writing to news pieces to pro-life groups. And so we joined that with our website, and then we developed something we said, let's call it LifeSite. We'll make it something else later on, but that's the only name we could find that wasn't taken up. So we used that, but it's still LifeSite 25 years later. We grew very rapidly. And over the next 10 years, we were a department of Campaign Life Coalition. And then Jim Hughes said, you've gotten too big for our budget, and there's too many staff and too many expenses. You need to go out on your own, and you need to fundraise on your own, and you'll do all right, and we'll help you. And he did, and we did, and we grew. And so 15 years later, here we are, and we've grown just incredibly. And in fact, the last 2.5 years, we've grown just astonishingly. It's been very hard last 2 years for everyone, but it was very good for LifeSite in that we were willing to tell people the truth about all these things about COVID and the vaccines and all of that. And no one else was telling that. We were one of the first ones that were doing that, but then we heard that from a few others, like Dr. McCullough and Dr. Zelenko, and there were so many others. And I paid very close attention to them, and I said, we have to report, we have to especially report how people can heal themselves through the early treatments, and nobody was doing that. In fact, even within our staff, we had internal divisions over that. Does it really work? Because there were so many voices that sounded so credible against using those things. But actually, they have been proven to be extremely credible and extremely safe, effective, and saving a lot of lives. And so we have, I think, through that, saved a lot of lives. And others have joined, and they've done that as well. And we've promoted, especially, those who have been doing that work. And so this event, today, it's one of the things. It's not a fundraising event, and its purpose is for you to be with each other, just to keep that in mind. But we do have to pay for it, but it's meant to be a self-paying event. It doesn't come out of our mission funds and our mission donations. Whatever the costs are related to this, it comes out of what is paid into this event by the people attending it. So just to let you know that. Some people have been concerned about that. Let me just see what else we have here. Yeah, so this is your family here tonight, and I think you're all sensing that very much. I think you're all clicking just like that, The world has gone mad, but you are sane. You are all very sane. So you're in one of the most sane groups that you'll ever be in for the next few years. You're the most normal people who love life, family, and God, who created you to know life, live, and serve God. And unfortunately, there's some of our staff couldn't be here because of the regulations, the COVID regulations. Some of our Canadians just couldn't get across the border. Very sad. Jim Hughes, one of our board members, couldn't get here because his wife is ill. Another Canadian couldn't get here. Dr. Gold could not get here, unfortunately. She's in jail for no good reason at all. She's in jail for standing up for freedom and for telling the truth about COVID and about the vaccines. And so we want you to all do so. Outside, there's going to be a table out there with cards or information for you to send a letter to her in prison. And we would very much appreciate that you would do that. We were really hoping to have her here, but she can't. And, she really played a large role in starting the medical opposition to the COVID regulations. Jim Hughes said we needed our own news service in order to counter the lies and the manipulations and the disinterest from the mainstream media. And so that's what we did for the pro-life, pro-family movement and for all the pro-life organizations in the world. We serve all of them. That's what LifeSite does. We serve them. LifeSite is not the one that does the things that makes change. We serve the people who do make change, and we inform those who can make change. That's our role. Truth is what we are about. Yeah. So what we do is John Henry and I have followed a very definite and simple policy. When we see that something needs to be done, something comes up, and somebody has to do something, we do it. No matter what, we do it. Okay? we say somebody's got to report this. Somebody's got to tell the truth on this. And we get a lot of flack, especially in the beginning of each of these issues that we cover. Here's something from a book that we give to a lot of our staff, Abandonment to Divine Providence. Probably a lot of you know that book. It's a necessary book for people who work in LifeSite, otherwise you go crazy. You have to learn how to rely on God. And in this book, one of the phrases are, if we seek the will of God in the most trifling affairs, in every misfortune, and in every disaster, we shall accept them all with an equal joy, delight, and respect. What others fear and flee from, we shall welcome with open doors. Now, we report a lot of really bad things, but we don't look at that as bad news. Us, John Henry and I, and many of our staff, we look at that as actually good news, somebody revealing what is hidden, nobody is telling you about, so that when it's brought out into the open, then something can be done about it to rectify it. So we see that as good news, all right? Christ said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. If you tell the truth about anything, and I mean anything, if you're consistently always telling the truth, you are imitating Christ. And that's what we're doing in LifeSite. We're telling the truth about a lot of the issues that we cover, and they're all related. There's a wide variety of issues, from COVID to homosexuality to the gender issues to population control, Catholic Relief Services, Development and Peace, the Ted Kennedy funeral, where our Cardinal McCarrick was at, the environmental movement fraud, global warming, COVID vaccines, the New World Order, and on, the Russia-Ukraine war. If you tell the truth on all of those things, you are serving God, and that's what we do to help all of you. And we do this to help the whole world. LifeSite is read around the whole world. There's a lot of stories I could tell you about people in India and in Africa and in Europe and in many nations that tell us about reading LifeSite News and how it has helped them, and how many marches for life have been started in other parts of the world because we've been covering so many marches for life so well, and they see that and they say, oh, we have to start our own March for Life, and similar other things have been happening. So we do all of this thanks to your generosity, to your donations, to your support. You are part of our team, every bit as much as we are doing the work. So I thank you. God bless you all. And remember, we do this all dependent on the grace of God, and without Him, we can do nothing. Thank you. God bless you.